See, one of the things I want to take serious is this coronavirus. It's fucking serious. So deadly serious that I can't even stress enough. Having 4 kids, my missus, my dog, whatever, you know what I mean, and neighbours and blah blah blah. It's a serious deal. And then when you go to the shop and you're having to stay 2 meters apart from the shopper in front of you, and they're only letting you in one at a time, it says it all. It's a serious deal. It worries me. And this is why I bring this kind of stuff up. It's, how do you put it? The best way I can put it is, this is an invisible enemy. Yes, we've heard that before, but think about it this way. This is an enemy that will not be talked to, not negotiated with. It doesn't give a fuck about you, your family, your kids. It's as bad as cancer, except for it's spreadable. It's an evil shit. And this is why me and fucking UD6, me, UD9 did another podcast, and we discussed this situation because it's a serious deal. It stresses me out, to be honest with you, and I try and say these things lightly because I don't want you guys feeling stressed out about it and stuff like that, but these things are serious, and it is serious, and I wasn't too concerned until things got serious. This is the first time I'm 40 years old. The planet is united in trying to defeat the coronavirus, which is an invisible enemy. Something that will not negotiate with you, will not talk to you, will just pass on, and fuck you up. It will fuck you up if you do not listen. So please stick to social distancing and stuff like that. Like I say, I'm Upside Down 6. I will be doing stuff discussing movies and all stuff like that, but I'm more concerned about people staying safe. So here's a bit of the podcast from me and UD9. Not a bit of it. Here is the podcast from me and UD9 discussing it. He's in San Diego. I'm in fucking Lincoln, UK. Check this out. Hope everyone stays safe. Peace out. Lincoln, UK, and San Diego, West Coast, America. First podcast of very many. We'll have a few up in the next few days. But today, we're just going to discuss briefly, only briefly, and I must emphasise, me and UD9 are not experts on this. We're just discussing the impact of what's going on today with the coronavirus. We promise you that we will be discussing Terminator as usual and stuff like that in, well, the near future. Possibly have another podcast up today. But today, at this moment in time, we're just going to discuss how shit it is, basically, or how good it is, in our areas. So, UD9, how you feeling?
Yeah, it's good to be here, Six. No, I'm doing well. Considered essential service, so it's in the state, so it's good to be at work and be able to get out of the house. But other than that, kind of going a little stir crazy when I'm at home. But we got to get through this together, and I can't emphasize that enough. I try and emphasize it to my kids, and they are having a hard time adjusting it, as is most of the youth across the world. But if we're going to get through this, and we're going to see, kind of, as they say, flatten the curve, so the amount of cases not spike, and it's able to, get it under control, and then come up with a hopeful eventual solution. Everybody has got to be on board with just the common sense stuff, which is, washing your hands for 20 seconds, and it's got to be 20 seconds. So you can actually find out a lot of stuff online as to why, doing the hand sanitizer thing, doing social distancing, and most importantly, unless you're going for food or essentials, stay at home, reconnect with your family. I mean, that's, we should take this time to, really reconnect as a family unit, as you and I have done off the air, a lot of discussion about how each other is holding up. It could be a really good together time, but we got to do it together, because if we don't, it's not going to matter.
See, what stuck out to me then was essential service. You're classed as essential service because you work in the radio, which is obviously keeping people in your area, local radio,
Yes.
and whatever, keeping people informed. So
Correct.
that's classed as an essential service, because obviously we don't want to be left in the dark. But do you feel at risk going out, or is the radio station you're at putting in the duty to keep you socially distanced and safe? Does
No,
it
it's been
concern you?
great. They really stepped it up a notch. I'm not going to drop my company name, but it's been great, because they, even with inside of our building, has been great. All of the essential hands-on producers, which is just a handful of us really, and the operations manager, pretty much the only people at the radio station. You have the sales department, and you have the management department, and they're working. Don't get me wrong, but they're working from home, which has been great, and it allows the radio station to keep going, but it also limits the amount of risk. And we're also doing that with guests too. If guests other than the host of the radio show want to be on, that has to be over the phone. So we're having a lot of limited interaction with individuals, and it's been very nice that so we're considered essential service, and we're being taken care of and shown, hey, you know what, we appreciate what you do. So it's been nice.
Oh, cool. So, like here in Lincoln, in the United Kingdom, it's proper ramped up. The laws have gone through now where any social gathering in the streets, more than two people, it's illegal now. We have to keep a social distance unless you're going out with family. So basically, all I'm allowed to do is go out for a dog walk on myself, obviously keeping away from others in the street. But it's how can I put it? It's like being in an apocalypse now. I live on a busy street, a busy estate, a busy area, and it is dead. Apart from people that are just taking the dogs for a walk or walking to a shop, because obviously you have to take your pets out because
Yeah,
they
I'll
need
tell you what,
toileting.
Six. I mean, not to interrupt you, but that's the same thing here. It's not two, and I think it's because California and the U.S. is bigger, a little bit bigger than where you're at in Lincoln. So, but it's 10 people, but it's the same thing. I mean, we're not really allowed to gather, and people this last weekend when I was just out for a drive just to clear my head, but not interact with people. It was amazing me how many people were still gathering in large groups in order to, still have their weekend barbecue and this and that. And the parking lot near the beach where I was at was absolutely full. And what did that lead to? Well, the following morning, I picked up our local paper, and the county of San Diego, where I'm at, decided that the police would shut down all of the parking lots for all of the beaches. And I believe it's the parks too, but don't quote me on that. And so it's like now it's harder for us to even be able to get out and, as a person, or if you're going with your significant other, enjoy those areas as just one or two people, because people have ruined it. And
Yeah.
you got to use common sense, people. It is not that difficult.
Well, no, it's the younger people that are fit and healthy thinking it won't affect me. Yeah, it might not affect them, but if they're carrying that virus and they're passing it on to the vulnerable, and that's what they need to get into their heads is be steady, careful what the fuck you're doing.
I was watching this video with just I believe he's the chairman of the Los Angeles Times yesterday, and his name escapes me. Just a really well put together video. And one of the things halfway through that pops up is this chart. It's the mortality rate, and that's what it shows. And it showed, I think it was between 0 and 10, and like the amount of people they're going to get it in that range is like non-existent. And then you have 11 through 21, 22, which is like my kids' age and most of the people that we're talking about. And there's a handful that are still going to get it, show symptoms, possibly be affected. But for the most part, they're not. Again, this is just my observations. I'm not an expert, as you and I keep saying. They're not going to show signs. They're going to think they're okay. And then when they're around their family and they're telling their family they're fine or they're around their friends, now that number that we're trying to keep low is going to exponentially increase because somebody wasn't being smart.
Mm-hmm. The spike now, and this is what this is only I'm watching on the news, and the government reckon, this is in the UK anyway, that this is the beginning, because obviously we had everyone gathering together and stuff like that. The spike will happen, well, it'll peak in about 2 to 2.5 weeks, because, well, that's how long it takes. So it takes a few days for it to show symptoms, and then it just goes woof. So all the people that are now self-isolating and now going to, even though they're isolating now because they've been exposed before, and now going to start getting these symptoms and stuff. That's how contagious this thing is.
New York in the States has actually already started to show that. I mean, it's just, that's kind of...
Well, they're a state of emergency now, aren't they? What is it? State of
emergency,
disaster,
I believe. And it's rough because you watch them. And I mean, that is just one of the... And I've been there recently, before this whole thing took place. And it is a busy city. So I can see where, all it took was a handful of people. And just within a couple of days, the infection rate is astronomical. So now they're really...
Am I right in saying they've classified New York as a disaster zone now?
I don't know. I will get that information, since I am in the media. I will actually get that information today, and by our next chat, I will be able to tell our audience whether or not that's true or not.
So anyway, we've spoke about this, and obviously we will go around in circles, but we've put out the big parts of it, the main parts, that the concerns and what you got to do.
The last thing I'll say, before, because I know we're kind of going to wind down.
I was just but go on.
Is I did a recent interview with a doctor in the radio world, and one thing that he was emphasizing, we did two parts to our conversation. One of it was about hoarding, and that was kind of why I got him on my show. And it's kind of the triple no. It's not ethical, it's not safe, and it accomplishes nothing. So the people that are out there that are thinking, oh, the world is ending, I got to go buy 8 million rolls of toilet paper. Guys, don't do that, because one, that's being selfish. Two, you don't need that much. And three, you're harming others. Just go out, get what you need. When you run out, there are safe ways about getting more toilet paper or whatever else that you might happen to need in your home. And it's not that difficult. And the second thing we were talking about was nutrition, and how a lot of these herbs and spices that are built for your immune system, wild oregano is the main one we were talking about. You start taking some of this now before you get the disease, and hopefully you don't. Then when you do, if you did, your body, no matter your age, is going to be able to fight it off better. So it's all about, in so many ways, preventative.
Yes, and I agree with all that. I was going to talk about some of the comical side of this, and not like I say, I don't take any of this lighthearted. It was just, have you seen The Purge?
Yes.
Yes, the noise that goes off before the purge kicks in.
I do.
Mm-hmm. I shit you not. I was sat in my lounge last night, chilling out, and then from outside, the purge alarm went off. Someone had put a speaker outside the window, and I sat there and my ear tweaked. I was thinking, huh? And then my missus come running down the stairs. Well, you heard that? It's the purge alarm. I was thinking, oh, fuck. And for that brief second, it was kind of creepy, because obviously the streets are dead, and I was thinking, oh, it really, it was how'd you put it? A good light-hearted joke for people that understand it. I thought it was quite amusing.
That is amusing, and especially if you're movie people like you and I, and most of the people on the channel, the Upside Down 6 channel, you'll recognize that. And honestly, 6, it's the little bits of humor here and there, maybe not directly poking fun at the virus, but just something like you just mentioned, and that's what's going to keep us going through. You need to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, and have fun, like you said at the beginning. Have fun with your family. I mean, if you're on your own, then I don't know what to say apart from digest a lot of fun stuff. Instead, don't sit there watching stuff about the coronavirus all day long. Obviously, stay informed, but digest just fun comedy stuff and that. Give yourself a light-hearted
Ooh,
view.
if you're alone, I know what you can do. You can, well, one, you can, Skype with your family and you use the phone for that. Like, I think that's just great now. But you could also stay tuned daily to the Upside Down Six channel here on YouTube for all of the updates that we're going to be giving for either the news or the entertainment world, even though that's kind of come to a screeching halt. But there's other things to talk about, so there's no excuse now.
Yeah, so that's how it is. We will be podcasting as often as possible. We're not going to give you a schedule. We'll just do it as often as possible, and it will be quite frequent. But anyway, so
Yeah,
but on the coronavirus, this is basically, I hope everyone's safe. Stay safe. This is Upside Down 6.
and Upside Down 9 in San Diego. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe.
Peace out.